officially finished Iron Flame and it was so good. It was so good. I just finished it right now, which means we are on to our next read, which is going to be the first read of this reading vlog, The Last Confession of Autumn Casterly by Meredith Tate. I have no idea what this book is going to be like, but it sounds super intriguing, and I think like a pretty good, I don't know, I don't want to make any assumptions about it because I don't really know what it's going to be about, but I'm really excited to dive into this tonight. My parents are away for the weekend, and so my entire goal basically was just to read. So I finished Iron Flame, which was my biggest goal, and now I just get to get cozied up with my next read. So yeah, let's start The Last Confession. A little update on the book so far. I'm on page 160, which is, I would say I'm pretty much halfway. I don't know if you can tell. I've just been sitting on the floor because I'm rolling out my back. I kind of did something weird to it at yoga today. So I've been rolling that out, but otherwise the book has been really good so far. I am kind of flying through it. I only started it yesterday, and again I'm about halfway through. I was kind of worried at first because it is a YA book, and I never really read a YA book to my knowledge like in the last many years, and so I was a little bit nervous it was going to be almost like too simple, but it's definitely not. I really am enjoying it. It's also a dual POV, so essentially what this book is about, now I can kind of tell you. The point of view goes from Autumn to her sister Ivy. They're in high school, which again was something that I was a little bit concerned about, that I wouldn't really like relate to the characters or anything, but Autumn is kind of on like a not so good path essentially. She's kind of getting in trouble a lot. She's dealing drugs, just kind of like not really in a good space, and Ivy, her sister, is like a total nerd. Which sounds so much like me, and I think I love it because I relate to some of the ways that Ivy talks. She has like this this like club with all her friends at school where they like play board games after school, and they watch, like, they go to Comic-Cons and they watch like Harry Potter's and a lot of like, I don't know, there's just a lot of references to some of the more like nerdy things, I guess, which I really appreciate because I'm kind of like that too. So yeah, that's really fun, and essentially it's, like I said, dual POV, so it's really interesting to see Ivy's kind of like thought process about her sister, and also her sister's kind of thoughts moving through their relationship. Now, like I said, Autumn's kind of getting into some more sketchy stuff, and essentially Ivy kind of gets trapped up in it a little bit, and so now we're kind of going through this. It's a bit of like a mystery because you're kind of wondering like what's gonna happen to Autumn and how is Ivy kind of like tangled up all in this, but you're also going through like a good character development of both of them. So yeah, it's been really good so far. I really like it. The writing is definitely simple. It's a fun read. It's one that I would probably read in like a day on vacation kind of a thing, so I definitely recommend it. Again, I'll keep you posted on how it goes, but yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm really liking the relationship of the two sisters, who are very different, and kind of their like growth and their projection throughout high school and kind of all of their experiences that's been happening. It's definitely not too young, which I also really enjoy because I recently did buy another couple YA books that I've just heard really good things about. So yeah, I'm really excited to kind of continue and see where this goes. Again, the writing is great. it's nice and fun, quick, speedy. They have some kind of cute relationships that form from the friends and like the side characters in this book. So yeah, I really like it. And the mystery is, again, I don't think it's fully like a mystery. I don't really know what this is. I don't think it's fully a mystery because it's definitely not like too twisty-turny. It's more just kind of like developing the relationship, but also obviously there's this big kind of mystery plot throughout the whole story so far, which I'm really enjoying. So yeah, that is my update. I will keep you posted on what I think as we go, but yeah, for now I'm going to continue reading and roll out my back. My friend called me after yoga today and she said her like group in university is hosting this event, and it's like a Vogue dance class. So I think her and I are gonna go together, so I need to be in prime condition to learn how to Vogue tonight. But otherwise, I will catch up with you guys later when I get a little bit further in, or potentially even finish it. I don't know when, but yeah, I'm really liking it so far, so that's great. Update on the book. So it's still been pretty good. I'm now on page 253 and it's still pretty good, but it's getting to a part kind of where we're doing a little bit of female empowerment, which of course is always great. If it drags on a little bit more than this, hopefully it doesn't. It hasn't like overtaken the story or anything, but it's obviously good, again, like I said, and keep reinforcing, it is like a young adult novel, so it's definitely targeted to the correct audience, but I'm flying through it. It's still so good. I'm really loving the story and the mystery. I actually have no idea what's going on. Like, I haven't been guessing what's been happening at all. I still love the characters. I'm still very attached to Ivy. But I just had to record this because this one part, essentially they're talking about like a little bit of female empowerment, like I said, kind of thing, and she's kind of making fun of the like guys that are, I don't know, not speaking about women in like the best way, and the name that she calls them is one of the douche bros, like as a way to describe one of the people in that conversation. One of the douche bros heads towards the snack table. I'm gonna use douche bros now. That's really funny.
Chef Corey. Pedigree for my man Jose Garces.
Ready to take everything that Chef Jose taught me and crush it.
Can I have your time slot? Nah, you have to work your way up to that one. Alright, Corey, what are we cooking tonight?
My signature dish is ropa vieja.
So I never actually filmed my wrap up or like final thoughts on this video, so I just wanted to give you a brief overview. On this book, I love this book. It was so great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I did film my final reactions, but I honestly can't find the footage anywhere. But I really enjoyed this book. It wasn't too YA. I loved the flipping POVs. I really got connected to Ivy, the sister of Autumn. It was just a lot of fun. I would highly recommend. It was great. Final thoughts? 2 thumbs up. Alright everyone, well, my room is a complete disaster because I'm leaving for a work trip this week, so everything's kind of in the state of being packed right now, but I thought I would give you a little update. My uncle is over for dinner and we're just about to have that, so I wanted to give you an update before we actually start eating. So I'm reading Ignite Me, obviously. I am on chapter 23, page 145. I'm not quite halfway, but I would say I'm pretty close. You can't even tell. I would say I'm pretty close to halfway. So I want to give a little update with my thoughts. So far it's okay. So far it's still reading like the other books, but I definitely enjoyed the other ones more in the series. Shatter Me and I don't even remember the last one. Unravel Me, I think. Everybody says that this is their favorite, at least in the beginning half of the series. Like this is like a 5, 6, 10 star read for people. So I had, I think, a bit of high expectations for it. But the people that I'm also taking those reviews from are primarily romance readers, and I don't read romance, and so the kind of character dynamics or like connections between like multiple characters is not something that I like read too much into or like think about too much. So maybe it's because of that. Like it's very character driven rather than plot driven up until this point, which is fine, but I feel like I'm not really connected to kind of either character that's going on. There's about 3 main characters when you get to this point, and I'm not like super connected to either of them, and I'm not like really sure what all of their motives are. Now the novellas in between each novel are told in an alternate person's point of view to help you like understand where the character is coming from, and it was super helpful to read those. I would definitely suggest that if you're reading the series, definitely do read the novellas, but I still feel like I'm not super understanding of like each character's motivations and what they're actually trying to accomplish or trying to do. So yeah, it's a bit odd. I still like, I'm getting through it super fast, still really like her writing. I think I was more obsessed with her writing in the first one. There's less quotes like there were in the first one, which is the parts that I really enjoyed. And so yeah, I'm slightly upset because I'm not loving it as much. By the way, look how gorgeous this cover is too. Yeah, slightly upset because I'm not loving it as much, and I think I had kind of high hopes by everybody saying like, I don't know, just by like seeing like book talks or booktube or anything about people talking about it. Like, I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but so far iffy. I'm still getting through it really fast, still like decently enjoying it, still wanting to pick it up and can read it perfectly fine, so that is all good. But yeah, I'm not like completely in love, obsessed. I'm not like super attached to the characters. I'm kind of like unsure where the story is gonna go at this point. And I'm also not sure where I want it to go. So, yeah. Anyways, I think we're about to have dinner, so I'm going to leave you guys there, and yeah, we'll pick you back up when I am a little bit further through. I am liking it though, don't get me wrong. Okay, mini update about... Stop it right now, did I literally forget the title of this book? Hang on. It's already packed because I'm leaving. Like I said, Ignite Me, oh my gosh. Mini update before I actually leave because I'm heading out today. Why are we fighting? Why are we only fighting? If you guys have read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, one of the books that I just finished, in Iron Flame, I was obsessed. I absolutely loved it, but I know that some of the critiques were like, why are we fighting the whole time and nothing's actually getting solved or happening? I didn't feel that way in that book. I feel that way in this book. Why are we halfway through and the only thing that we've done is fight, and then fight some more, and then fight some more? I don't know. I don't know. I hope something really crazy happens, which is why everybody says that this is like a 5-star read, because so far I am confused. Although, having said that, Magnolia Parks, which is one of my other like I don't know, 1,000,000-star reads, already reread it twice, and I bought the rest of the series. I haven't read the rest of the series yet, but I think I can understand if some people see that book in the same way. Like, why are we just fighting the whole time? Because it is very in-depth about this like very dysfunctional relationship essentially. But this book, like, we don't need to be doing that. This isn't what we came to this series for. Why are we fighting the whole time and nothing's actually happening? I don't know. That's my update. Anyways, I'll see you guys probably in a week because I need to get the rest of this stuff packed and head to Toronto. Okay. I finally finished Ignite Me. Thank goodness. Also, side note, I got this cute little Bagslath War College sweater from Fourth Wing, and it's really cute. But yeah, I finally finished Ignite Me. Thank goodness. If you don't know, I think I would have explained this earlier, but this is the third book in the Shatter Me series. And I absolutely loved Shatter Me. I was completely obsessed with it, but this one, major flop for me. I don't understand why people, I mean, obviously to each their own, but I was really expecting more because a lot of people say that this is like one of their favorite books of the series, and I feel like just nothing happened. So unfortunately, that was a bit of a fail in my opinion. I feel like basically, I don't know, nothing happened in my opinion, which is really upsetting. I really enjoyed like the action and the whole storyline in the first one, and I feel like her writing just went super downhill, and I don't know, just the stuff that I enjoyed from the first one just didn't continue on into this one at all. I think it's because I wasn't really enjoying the characters, and I also didn't really enjoy where the characters' stories went at all. I just like couldn't connect to it, and not a favorite, unfortunately. Thumbs down for Ignite Me. Then I started The White Tower. This is a super random find. I was at Value Village with my friend, and obviously I had to go check out the book section because I'm a crazy person, and I found this. Someone had donated the first 3 of this series. I think the series is like 6 books long, and they're all like this thick. I don't know, I was just so curious because again, all 3 of them were there, which could mean good things and could mean not good things. But yeah, it seems pretty interesting so far. I'm only like 50 pages in so far, but this story is kind of, I mean, I'm not really sure exactly what it's about yet, although a similar kind of storyline to, you know, magic is outlawed. There's a couple different groups or people that have magic and they're trying to hide away from like the rulers who come from a white tower. That sort of vibe and situation. They're trying to like hide out some people who, again, have magic, and we're trying to kind of just, yeah, rebel against the everybody outlawing magic, essentially. That's the basis of what I've gotten so far. But every chapter, every few chapters is in a different character's perspective, and the only reason is because well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons I'm like slightly nervous for it is at the very beginning of the book, is it a she? No, I think it's a he, the author, Michael. The foreword says, "This series is not your typical follow the hero on their journey story. It has a larger scope with multiple storylines that weave together as the series progresses. For those of you who prefer to keep up with each character as they read along, I've added a character glossary at the back." So I just feel like this is going to be a massive world, and I'm not sure if, you know, you're going to love reading it as like a one-off book, but I'm going to try. And I flipped to the back, and the character glossary, so again, here it is at the back, it says, you know, the names of all the characters and then kind of like a little sentence about each one. This is only the A's. The character glossary is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5 half pages. So if this is counting as 1 page and this is counting as 2 pages, it's 6.5 pages of characters. So I'm like a little bit concerned once I read that, but otherwise it's been going along kind of good so far. We've only been introduced to I think 3 characters whose storylines, 2 of them now intertwine. One of them, I'm not really sure what's going to happen to them, but yeah, so far I've enjoyed it. It's also written in 3rd person. I've only read, to my knowledge, one other book similar to this in 3rd person, which was Throne of Glass, and I haven't continued on in that series yet, but it takes me a little while to like get it, because again, especially because this chapter, for example, is written in Ty's point of view, but it's not actually in his point of view because it's all in 3rd person. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. I might start another one at the same time as this though, again, just because it's quite large, and obviously I read big books, so that part doesn't scare me or anything like that, but we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. I think it's a pretty big world building, obviously heavy character driven series, so yeah, kind of a random start, but this is the one that is next. Now we can also put back together my Shatter Me series little wall bracket. I do have Wolfsong, which has nothing to do with Shatter Me, as the base, but I put all of the Shatter Me books up there by themselves, and because they're paperback, eventually they started to kind of like bend this way, so we have one hardcover book underneath it to kind of balance it out, and I just thought that these colors kind of matched, so yeah. Successfully completed, I think, what I'm going to be reading of the Shatter Me series, so cool. Ta-da! Okay, hi everyone. I wanted to give I have the hiccups, please excuse me. Oh dear, see. I wanted to give a little bit of an update of where we're at with the two books that I'm currently reading right now. As you know, I started The White Tower a little bit ago. Oh my goodness, these hiccups. Why did I film now when I have hiccups? I'm now on chapter 20, page 149. So yeah, a good chunk into this book. I was kind of explaining before that it does flip POVs, but the good thing is I am understanding where the characters are kind of at and the storyline that each of them are following for the most part. And just now some of those storylines have kind of crossed over and come together, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one, honestly. I'm going through like each chapter pretty fast and I'm enjoying the characters so far. It's a pretty simple writing structure, which is good. It's enjoyable, especially in a fantasy, because there is just so much world building going on. It's really nice to have like very simple kind of sentence structures, so I feel like I'm getting through it very quickly. But yeah, the scene is really cool. It's kind of like, I don't know, almost medieval is kind of like how I'm thinking about it and how I'm picturing kind of like the characters and the scene that's going on. It's kind of like, yeah, it's really cool. We're learning about kind of the magic system a little bit more. We're learning about the Kingdom of the White Tower and kind of like their mission to essentially eliminate everybody with kind of magical abilities. But yeah, it's really, really good so far. So that's my update. Now, while I'm working my way through this, I actually ended up starting Drowning. This book was, I think, co-authored or completely written by a former flight attendant. So essentially it's about this flight which, as you can tell, crashed into the ocean and is now sinking to the bottom of the ocean, but there is still passengers inside. So we have a little bit of a rescue mission going on, because how are we going to get some of these passengers out of the plane which is sinking to the bottom of the ocean? It's really neat. I think I said this in one of my other videos that when I was younger, one of my most favorite shows was Mayday, which is like a retelling, I guess, of true story like plane crashes, and then the whole like discovery process afterwards where you're trying to like find out essentially what happened to the flight, and you're following the detectives through the whole case basically after the plane had crashed, and kind of uncovering why the plane had crashed, what ended up happening, the whole story about it. And yeah, it's an awesome show. I don't know if it's like still around. I actually do have it on a streaming service, so I still watch it sometimes now, but that's why I thought I would really like this book, because I love those kind of real, I don't know, just like those real stories. And I just always found Mayday so interesting. So yeah, this book, I'm almost happy with this one as well. I only started it a few days ago, but it's honestly so good. I'm now on page 141. And there are these little chapter breaks. I think I showed you yesterday when I was reading in the bus, where it kind of gives you little updates about, you know, what time it is in the plane and kind of how many hours after impact and the oxygen that's currently remaining in the plane. And we're kind of going through, obviously, like the very kind of dramatic beginning of what's happening when the plane is like crashing, kind of like right at the beginning. And the writing is pretty fast paced, but also going into like a decent amount of detail, I'd say. And we do get some flashbacks of like character stories as well, which really just helps build all of the like dimensions of the characters that you're trying to get to know. But yeah, this story is going along really, really well. I love kind of like a sci-fi realm of things too. So if, such as like I have read, well, I have multiple actually of Chris Hadfield's books. I just got the newest one that came out, but I haven't read that one yet. I got that for Christmas from my sister. But yeah, I love those kind of, I don't know, sci-fi, like taking place base, like mystery kind of thing. Sorry, I don't know why those hiccups are not going away. And so it's really fun for me to like read about these very like theoretical ways of like how could we rescue this like plane that's literally sitting on the bottom of the ocean, and like how could we rescue, like, or I don't know, how are these people surviving, these astronauts surviving when the space station is like being attacked by something, you know what I mean, like that whole kind of storyline. If you don't enjoy that, there's a chance you would find this slightly cheesy, but I do think it's written quite well, so I'm not struggling with that at this point. I do think it's like somewhat feasible scientifically, but also, I mean, obviously it's like a little bit stretched, but it is quite fun. It's written quite well. The stakes are, I mean, pretty high, so it's good to mix in these two together so that I have kind of like just a really slower pace, world building, kind of heavier, literally, storyline mixed with something that's really like basically every chapter is kind of adrenaline pumping because there's a lot at stake here. So yeah, it's really good. That's my update about these two books. I've been trying to sit down and film this video for so long and I have not done it, so that's why I wanted to do it now, but for some reason I have hiccups, so I'm going to sign off now. Okay, good night. Okay, thought I would give you an update on Drowning. I don't know if I've even talked about this book yet, but I'm on page 146, so actually maybe a little over halfway. It's so good. It's so good. I like it a lot. It's really engaging. It's really, really good. I'm like sucked into the story for sure. It jumps POVs from the people in the plane to like the rescuers that are obviously trying to work to help everybody out. It has a little bit of like touching backstory, kind of family drama, if you want to call it, going on, but that's not overpowering to the actual story at hand. Like, it's very much focused on the plane and everything that's happening with the passengers and like how we're going to try and figure this out scientifically, how it's going to work. There's a couple twists and turns that have already happened. The drama is at like the perfect level. The suspense is all there. It's written amazingly. I am in love with this book. I'm loving it so much, and I don't really know what's gonna happen, so let's see. I'm also in the bus with Ollie Ball today. we've got a weekend of camping, if you've seen that video, coming up, so we're pretty excited. Yeah. I just finished. It was so good. Oh my goodness, I don't think I was expecting to like actually love it this much, but how fun. This is such a good book. This is actually, I was just reading, it's her second novel. Her first one is called Falling and is actually going to be a major motion picture from Universal, which is so cool. I'm gonna have to check it out. I haven't read that one, but maybe I'll pick it up because this was so good. The whole storyline was just done so well. The adventure was there, the action was there, the deep parts were there but not overwhelming in the story. It was like scientifically kind of feasible but also like slightly complicated and slightly out there. Exactly like any kind of like a space, like a deep space kind of like rescue mission felt very similar to this, which I absolutely loved. Oh, highly recommend. I don't know what we're gonna start now though. We have so many options. This was so good. Thought I would give a little update on the next book that I'm reading, which is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. I am probably just about halfway now, and yeah, it's really good. This book is actually a sequel, and I would highly recommend reading the first one first. You don't have to, as it's mentioned in this book, but I would recommend it only because I really loved it. I've talked about it once before on this channel, but it's called Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. And it's so good. And this one is very similar. Essentially the author, the person that is writing this book is actually writing about a true story that happened. So they're writing it in the present about events that happened in the past, but writing it as if it was a mystery story. And so kind of right up front, the whole like theme of the book, or the whole kind of like quirky side of them, is he tells you everything up front. There's going to be a death on page blah blah blah. I want to get here before 6,000 words. I will mention the killer's name 160 times or whatever. Like, he has all these rules that he follows. The killer will be introduced within the first blah blah blah. Like, I'll only make sure to introduce them. It cannot have any paranormal activity. The killer cannot have a twin that secretly comes in. Like, all of this stuff. And the whole thing is very much like he's talking to you to be like a very upfront. His whole thing is about being like a very truthful author basically, while kind of trying to throw you off the scent as well. But it's so good. It's so quirky, so funny. He interrupts himself retelling the story by like basically giving you spoilers, which kind of throw you off of to what's happening, but also it's just so good and so funny and so like easily bingeable. I started this morning after I finished Drowning, and yeah, it's been so good. I'm glad that I started this one because it's just been going really fun. We've just been walking around today at the beach, and we sat down by the water and I read for a little bit. It's been a really good day. So yeah, really liking this book so far. It's really cool. It's not a spoiler because again, he tells you pretty much everything right off the bat, and now you're just kind of reliving the story and kind of figuring out what's happening. But it's definitely a mystery. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea where this is going to turn, because like there's literally a whole chapter in here that says, okay, at this point you're probably thinking this, and it goes in jot notes about like all of the possible like suspects that you're probably thinking of as the reader. It's really good. It's really like funny and silly and like, but just good in general. So yeah, I will let you know how this goes as we progress. That was so good. I definitely had a couple of jaw-dropping moments in this book. It was awesome. Highly recommend. Also, do check out the first one because it was really good, and I would suggest to read them in order. But that was awesome. He's just, I think I said it all yesterday, but I'm really happy with how the whole book came together and how the ending all happened, because it just hit perfectly. I certainly didn't guess it, although I wasn't really trying to, but I loved how it went along. Everything got tied up in like a quirky, funny, kind of like twisty way. These books are definitely written a lot like, what's that movie? Knives Out, I think? And then the second one was Glass Onion, which wasn't as good, but the first one was good and quirky and silly and funny. That's kind of how this is written, very much so like that, and it was so good. I thought I would have more to say, which is why I pulled out this camera, but honestly, all I really have to say is that was really good, and yeah. And that basically wraps up this video, so thank you guys so much for watching. As you're currently watching this, I am headed to South Africa for a month, so I will see you guys after that, but thank you again for watching. Just remember, every adventure is worthwhile. Keep sharing those stories. Love you guys. Bye!